What is going on, Grinders? It's Chief. We're in the building. It's another edition of Take Your Pick'em. Thanks so much for joining me today. It's Tuesday, June 6th, 2023, and we have a great episode ahead yet again. Once again, I am Chief. And we've got a special guest today, and this is something that we want to do on this show. We're going to have a special guest from the prop shop, hopefully at least once a month. I've talked to them, and whoever wants to come on, they are more than welcome. Mi casa is su casa. There are plenty of people in the prop shop that have helped make this place great. And one of those people, if you see them in the prop shop, let's welcome to the show, Joel Holman, a.k.a. VW Deli Guy. He's in the building. Joel, what's going on, my man? Oh, Joel's making the first. Joel, I think you're muted.
You didn't let me unmute myself. The rookie mistake on the very first pitch.
Oh,
look at that.
Man.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate the opportunity, man. This is fantastic. We all appreciate the time and efforts that you put into the prop shop. That's just great. It's a fantastic resource. The community there is supportive, and the joint sweat and that kind of thing is just we really appreciate the opportunity and to have us on here helping you, giving these great plays. We're not looking for good plays. Anybody can, bet on Aaron Judge to hit a home run, but we're looking for great plays, and that's what you guys are always providing. So I appreciate it, man. I do appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
Absolutely, man. And thank you for joining us. You guys know how this goes. We're going to kick it off. First things first, let's start with the winning words of wisdom. And this one is from Charles Kettering. And I came across this and I said, this one I think is going to be really good for us today. Here we go. It says, the Wright brothers flew right through the smoke screen of impossibility. And if you don't know who the Wright brothers are, those are the brothers out of North Carolina that created the airplane. And basically, I'm sure they had some opposition. I'm sure they had people telling them, you guys are crazy. You won't be able to get this project off the ground. But guess what? They didn't care. They had perseverance. Diligence. They stayed grinding. And one day you look up and these guys are flying through the air. They've got the aerodynamics rolling. And so I think you can take that and always parallel it to your life, man. There are a lot of things you may think that you can't do, but trust me, just keep grinding, keep your mind to it. You guys know that I'm a big supporter of just positive energy, positive thinking, because if you do that, it's going to keep your mental state in just such a good place. And I think that's what we all need, especially in this business. We've all gone down probably a rough stretch. All of us at some point have gone through a rough stretch. And I'm telling you right now, the positive thinking and the ability to mentally lock in and push through that is the key, especially when you're making good decisions and they're just not materializing in the game. So don't worry about it. We can all fly through the smoke screen of impossibility. Joel, any thoughts today?
No, couldn't agree more, Chief. I mean, it's a grind. It's RotoGrinders. It all tracks, my friend. You got to take the good with the bad if you trust the process. I mean, this is my fourth season now full of DFS and my second real season of props. And yeah, in the beginning, I'm a baseball guy at heart. I know baseball very, very well. I've been studying it for a long time. Never really had a place to, do anything with that information other than follow baseball. So 4 years now deep of DFS, including the, pandemic year, so to speak. The first thing I did was, okay, who knows what they're doing here? Who can I go to? Who can I listen to that, knows this industry, and I can, parlay, no pun intended, my, knowledge of baseball into success in this community. And yeah, I immediately found you guys on the morning grind and Stevie and started listening. So, I totally understand that, expressions like back to the well, things like that, concepts like that is you got to take the good with the bad. But at the end of the day, if you trust the process and you're doing the lab work that you need to do and you're working with professionals like you guys, it definitely puts you out ahead. There's no question about it. The math numbers don't lie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of numbers, Deli, we got to go through our recap. This is a show of accountability. We don't just put out plays. We're tracking how many we get right, how many we get wrong. And yesterday, it was pretty much a split. Or well, not a split, but we went 2-1 on yesterday. If you were in the prop shop, ended up with some double up cards just based on how the slate broke out. So we had Martin Perez under 17 and a half pitching outs. We wanted less than that projection. That did not work out. Cardinals just could not get hits early.
No, St. Louis has
Uh,
really been struggling, Chief. They really have.
yeah,
When Martin Perez can go almost the distance against you, and Arenado, Goldschmidt, et cetera, put up goose egg after goose egg. It's frustrating.
yeah, absolutely. So that was one that did not come through. But Shane McClanahan, more than 1.5 walks. That one was a win. And then we had Blake Snell, more than 16.5 pitching outs. That was a win. So that brought our total yesterday 2-1. Total in June 4, 5-1. And so we're digging ourselves out of the hole. But here's something I do want to discuss briefly. Just because the plays say 4, 5-1, that does not mean we're unprofitable. Like sometimes, like, if especially for those of you that may be tracking, your profitability and how things are going, you can be 5-15 and still be up because that one day of combinations, especially if you're on sites like PrizePicks and Underdog, where you can get a 20x or you can get, a 25x on PrizePicks, and sometimes they give us those bonuses where you'll get a 30x on a Friday. You hit a 30x, doesn't matter how bad the day was before. Trust me, if you've been disciplined, you should be up, and you could have very well, got 5 wrong, or 5 right, 10 wrong, and you're still up, 15 units. So I think that's something important to discuss. And we're going to let Deli kick this thing off. Deli, I'm going to go ahead and pull up my screen so we can share here. And
Sure,
I
absolutely.
know you've got a couple plays that you want to talk about.
Do.
What's your top play on the board today so far?
Well, you brought me in here, you threw me a softball, so to speak, with this perfect storm we've got going on in Oakland against Pittsburgh. Yeah, they're all appearing on the boards now. Mitch Keller, his strikeouts, his fantasy score, his pitching outs, et cetera, et cetera. He's in just the primest of spots. And on the other, considering the weather, considering the stadium, I'm guessing they're going to have some dinosaur behind the plate there. All signs are pointing to him. So he's a kind of an easy no-brainer if you want something safe, if you're looking for DFS cash guy. Keller is probably the guy who you're going to be looking at today. But when I'm looking at batters versus pitchers and seeing who has been playing well, who has been not playing well, and what do these matchups look like. You listen to the initial slate of games, and you're looking at run totals. Picking one isn't always easy, but I had to go with Matt Olson today, and for a variety of reasons. So Matt Olson, he's a stud. We know he's a stud. You can always pick Matt Olson. So why are we going to pick Matt Olson today? Well, we're going to hit you with a little Clint Eastwood. We're going to do some good, bad, and ugly on Mr. Olson. So he's got 17 home runs. He's second or third in the NL. He's absolutely crushing it. But the thing about him is this is the best year he's ever had in terms of his power numbers and his ISO numbers. Right now, if you took his initial season away where he only had 59 games played and smacked all those home runs in just those 59 games, take that wonky first third of a season out of the mix. And Matt Olson he's having the best season of his career, and he's on pace to have the best numbers he's had ever, basically, other than his batting average, which could tick up. But in terms of power and slugging and those types of the barrel numbers that we want to see, generally speaking, he's really having a great year. So that's the good. The bad is Carlos Carrasco. I could see his little face there. You have him pulled up, smiling at me. So Mr. Carrasco, he's going to be throwing, 45, 50% fastballs in the 88 to 92 mile an hour range, pretty much right down the plate. Well, as opposed to Mr. Olson, who's having the season of his life, Mr. Carrasco is having the worst season of his life. Not, 8, 9 seasons deep now. His barrel and his velocity numbers are the second highest they've ever been in his career, and it's not even close. He had one season where he just got absolutely rocked. And if you take that out of the mix, it's not even close. His barrel and velocity numbers are just through the roof. So when you mix a guy, talking about through the roof, when you mix a guy like Olsen, who's having this stellar time, with a terrible, terrible bad pitcher like Carrasco, it's another one of those perfect storm type of situations. There, you know, if you ever cared about batter versus pitcher, now might be a time to look at that kind of thing because you think you're onto something. Well, holy smokes, look at that. We're onto something. More than a dozen plate appearances, 417 batting average, 1.08 on the power. I mean, just
Yeah.
he's seen this guy before. He's not tricking him. He's not throwing some
Right.
crazy pitch that he's not going to see. He's getting old. He's throwing slower. All of his numbers point towards power to the outfield. Matt Olson is my play of the day, and I assume for the safety's sake, you probably just take the 1.5 total bases as opposed to the fantasy score. I don't expect him to necessarily steal bases or get knocked in necessarily where he is in the order. Maybe he gets an RBI or two, but batting where he'll bat, I don't know that he comes across the plate other than the 2 or 3 home runs he hits against Carrasco. If
Yeah.
Carrasco stays in that long. So
Well,
there you
listen,
go. That's
I
the
love
good.
that call. I
That's the
love that
good
call.
and the bad. Here's the ugly, though, Chief. And I'm not Mr. Roth. I don't want to be a paid corporate troll here, a little PCT, but we'll let the RotoGrinders crew do their thing. Right now, Roth says this game is okay weather-wise, but there are weather concerns. So if you're one of these people who is, oh no, the rain, they're at home, he might only get 4 at-bats. I appreciate all this stuff against Carrasco. Carrasco might not last 2.2 innings. Now
Yeah.
what? Now I got to dig deep on bullpen and what is Matt Olson doing against this lefty reliever they've brought in. So if you have concerns about Matt Olson, okay. My second backup in the trio of lefties today would be Sawinski, Mr. Crackerjack Sawinski from Pittsburgh. That's just the perfect storm. Caprolin is trash. He can't get lefties out. He's a gas can. Everything, all
Yeah.
signs point to Sawinski. The problem here is there is no prop yet for Sawinski. I don't know if they're scared to give it to us or they think he might sit for
Right.
some reason. All right, so it's not there. So finally, just do what I do for the past week and print some money, key wheel Mr. Corey Seager into every card you have because that guy is on fire. And if you take a peek at him and who he's up against today, he's just absolutely in another one of those smash spots. So I hate to ride the last 5 train, but when a guy's hot and he's seeing pitches right, he's hot. So Corey Seager, he's a good backup. But if I had to pick just one, we're going to go with Matt Olson today.
Absolutely. Love the call. I know you talked about the weather and the fact that, there may be some, but listen, if there are weather concerns, we hope that it's shining at your house, that the sun is bright and shining, and no other place to visit than our good friends at Shady Rays. Kick off the new year with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and much more. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. That's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by the lost and broken replacement policy. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after you purchase. With Shady Rays, you can look good and feel good. And to date, they've donated over 20 million meals to fight hunger with Feeding America. If you don't love them, exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There is no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back. Exclusively for listeners of Take Your Pick'em, Shady Rays is giving out the best deal of the new year. Go to ShadyRays.com. Use the promo code RotoGrinders and get 50% off 2 pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try it for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people. Here we go, folks. We're going to kick off another play here, and this is one of my top plays of the day. No secret here. I've been riding this guy all year. I've been riding him since spring training, and it's none other than Mr. Mitch Keller. He's at 7 strikeouts today. I am going to absolutely make sure that I get him in my lineups at 7Ks. I want more than that projection. As we can see here, Oakland's been struggling. Strikeouts galore, 34% for Noda, 27% for Laureano, 36% for Brown, 20% for Belliday, 19% for Diaz, 26% for Peterson, 30% for Langeliers, and 17% for Allen. And they don't really have a lot of power bets. I would say half of the lineup is low in power. Keller, 30% K rate, 3.27 xFIP, 5.6% walk rate. This man has been outstanding. If he was on a championship contending team, he'd be in the running for Cy Young easily.
Whoa, Chief, they're in first place, buddy.
They're
in first place, buddy.
No. No. I said, but they're not championship contenders. I said championship contenders. I didn't say first place. But listen, I did get something in with one of my buddies for them to win the division before the season started, actually. Before the season
tasty.
It was the juice was too much. At any rate, so that's Mitch Keller. We're going to move to my second favorite play of the day here. And this is another easy one. I think it's just smart right now with where we are in the season. Continue to attack high strikeout teams, and that's none other than Zach Eflin. He's at 5.5 strikeouts. Minnesota, man, my goodness. They do have some power, but the strikeouts are all over the place. 27% for Polanco, 31% for Lewis, 21% for Krylov, 28% for Buxton, only 19% for Kepler, Farmer 28, Castro 31, Taylor 35, Vasquez 22. I will say Eflin would have been a pitching outs candidate, but I didn't see that one across the industry. But he is 5.5 across all the sites that I've seen today. Vivid, he was 5.5. PrizePicks, he was 5.5. And Underdog just did not have the K props out this morning, so I'm not sure where he is at the recording of this video. But at 5.5 strikeouts, we definitely want to get that in. And those are going to be my two plays. I know Deli is all over Matt Olson today at 1.5 total bases. And I think that's going to wrap up today's show. Those are going to be the plays. He also talked about Sawinski. If you can find a prop on Sawinski, please get that in. And, of course, he also mentioned Corey Seager. So we'll go through the recap. We'll get out of here. We've got Zach Eflin, 5.5 strikeouts. We want more than that projection. Mitch Keller, 7 strikeouts across the industry. Vivid, Underdog probably will be the same on PrizePicks. Probably the same on Underdog. And maybe you'll probably get him at 6.5 on Hot Streak and probably Sleeper, but they'll give you a reduced payout. But those are my two plays. And we've got Matt Olson, 1.5 total bases. And then I'm assuming Corey Seager's total bases or 1.5 hits RBIs, whichever you
hits, runs,
you
and RBIs is the one that is real good. Chief, let me ask you real quick. If you have any concerns about Keller because of the high number, if that doesn't come down to 6.5, if it stays at 7.0, what do you think about his live prop, wherever it lands, 2.5 over 3 or 3.5 over 4 or whatever it is?
Yeah, his live will probably be 3.5 through 3. I'm still going to be inclined to take the over with more than that with Oakland. But once again, at 7, he's been clearing 8 strikeouts almost every game. I'm not worried about it against Oakland. So I'm absolutely at 7 strikeouts, and that's where he is right now. At 7 strikeouts, I still want more than that projection across the industry. So we're going to close out Take Your Pick 'em. Thank you so much for joining us. For Joel, I'm Chief. You've been tuned in. Come in with your pockets empty. Leave with your pockets full. Thanks, Joe, for joining me. We'll see you guys tomorrow.